the New York Stock Exchange at the corner of Wall and Broad Streets in New York City, welcome inside the Ice House. Our podcast from Intercontinental Exchange is your go-to for the latest on markets, leadership, vision, and business. For over 230 years, the NYSE has been the beating heart of global growth. Each week, we bring you inspiring stories of innovators, job creators, and the movers and shakers of capitalism here at the NYSE and ICE's exchanges around the world. Now, let's go inside the Ice House. Here's your host, Lance Glynn.
Each month on the Inside the Ice House podcast, we engage in insightful conversations with business leaders, CEOs of NYSE-listed companies, entrepreneurs, and visionaries. We explore their journeys, the challenges they've overcome, and their aspirations to shape the future. You can tune in every week on all major podcast platforms to catch these discussions and watch full video episodes on tv.nyse.com and on the NYSE YouTube channel. We kicked off the month with episode 500 and Bryan Daniel, president of NYSE Texas. The first of its kind exchange is driving economic growth through innovation, market access, and strategic partnerships. Bryan Daniel joins the podcast to discuss how Texas Pro-Business Foundation and collaborative leadership are creating new opportunities for companies to raise capital and to scale.
It's the natural sort of movement of business in Texas. Texas, for 20 years now, has really been focused on establishing a solid business community in the state, which is going to create a lot of jobs, I think is really the driver behind that. And NYSE Texas, to me, really represents real progress in creating this business community that becomes very sustainable for the state. So businesses can come there, they can be successful, they can do expansions there, all the while creating jobs for Texans, which that's what's going to grow the communities in the state.
Absolutely. And, I think there's something sort of symbolic, right, about launching an exchange in Texas. It feels like sort of a statement about where innovation and growth are really happening in America. What do you think NYSE Texas just sort of says about the evolution? As someone who's been in Texas pretty much all their life, what does it say about the evolution of financial markets in the region?
Yeah, I think for financial markets and for particularly the banking community, to their point of view, it's a long time coming. I think your average Texan is very proud of how the state has grown and established itself as a real leader in the nation. So Texas has led the nation in job creation for several years now. And I think Texans are aware of that, but only to the extent that they have a good job. They're providing for their family. They're doing the things that they want to do. The ability to see NYSE Texas on the ground and operating, I think signals to a lot of Texans there's still more growth. Sure. We can still do more with what we've done. And I think for a lot of people, their goals are starting to be completed. And I mean, it's hard to not feel good about a situation when you've completed your goal.
Episode 501 featured Dave Cortese, Chief Digital Information Officer for NYSE-listed McGraw-Hill. The education leader is building on its legacy as a trusted partner while driving a bold digital transformation. He goes inside the Ice House to share how technology and AI are reshaping the company's approach to learning.
So in our school business, that K through 12 business unit, we have this solution. It's called McGraw-Hill Plus. And what McGraw-Hill Plus does is if you're a customer of ours, and you're in math, you're using our third grade math program, let's say. We're looking at the student's interaction from that. We're looking at the assessment results at the end of each section of how they're doing. We also can tap into, if your wife happens to be using what we call supplemental and intervention products, right? These are products that if the students need a little more support in certain areas, we give them to use. We can pull the data from there. We also integrate with third-party state assessment data. Right. So your wife may once or twice a year have to give a state administrative assessment. Right. So what we're doing at McGraw-Hill in K through 12 is we're pulling data from the core subject platform, supplemental intervention platform, and that third-party state assessment. Now, here's where the magic happens. We apply data science in bringing that all together and mapping that against the state learning objectives. So if your wife is teaching in New York or New Jersey, that state has a specific set of learning objectives that when they come out of that third grade class with her, they have to demonstrate competency in. What we do is we map all of that data and insights and those state assessments against those learning objectives. And we very clearly outline through this very colorful wheel of a skills and standards graph of exactly who is where.
Wow.
And we're really bringing the promise that you just described perfectly to light through this McGraw-Hill Plus platform. It is true personalized learning instruction where we're empowering the teacher to work with those students the way you described your wife would during break.
In this month's installment of Markets in Focus, in partnership with Opening Bell Daily, Phil Rosen joined me at the New York Stock Exchange to put Bitcoin's volatility in context, discuss December's seasonal strength, and at the time of recording, explain what a December rate cut signals about a divided Fed.
This was supposed to be Bitcoin's biggest year ever, was the prediction at the start of 2025. You had a pro-Bitcoin White House, you had BlackRock and other Wall Street firms buying tons of Bitcoin, and you had these ETFs getting adopted all across institutional and retail investors. They're in 401ks, and Bitcoin has not gone anywhere. It's actually negative year to date, I think like 7% as of this morning. So that's been sort of a narrative violation this year. We haven't done what we expected to do. I saw a lot of outlooks were saying Bitcoin would hit $150,000 this year, $180,000 this year. I don't know if we're going to hit that before the New Year's, but all this is to say we're only at, let's say, 85,000 right now, 88,000. That is an amazing price for this asset, which was, not long ago laughed out of every room on Wall Street.
Yeah.
Now, for one Bitcoin, it's almost six figures to purchase one Bitcoin or to own one Bitcoin. And keep in mind, just because we're down over 12 months, I think, down 7%, let's say, over 13 and a half months, we're up from 69,000 to 85,000. Yeah. So that's still a very good appreciation. I think over the last 3 years, Bitcoin has averaged an annual gain of 70%.
Wow.
So it's an astronomical asset, and the performance should speak for itself.
Sure.
But every time there's a 3 to 5 to 8% dip, the media is going to go crazy. People are going to say, look, I told you this asset doesn't work. It's not a store of value. It's not a hedge against volatility or, inflation. And it's not where you should keep your capital. Yeah. I think the long-term picture is very bullish, and I'm certainly bullish on the asset. And the day-to-day stuff, if you're paying attention to the fluctuations, you're probably in the asset for the wrong reason.
On episode 502, author, entrepreneur, and venture capitalist Brad Feld went inside the Ice House, championing a philosophy of generosity and collaboration to strengthen entrepreneurial ecosystems. Sharing insights from his new book, Give First, The Power of Mentorship, he discusses building better communities, fostering innovation, and why giving without expectations creates lasting impact.
In a philosophy, it's a set of ideas to incorporate into the way you approach things. And the ideas essentially are not do these things. It's more ponder this and think about how they relate to or how they could work with what it is that you care about. So first piece of it is to incorporate some of these tenets of the Give First philosophy into the way that people operate in the context of entrepreneurship and business, generally speaking, especially around leadership. The second is the notion of mentorship and how powerful mentorship can be in the context of the entrepreneurial journey or the leadership journey. And specifically not, again, a set of rules. Do these things and you will be a good mentor. That was not my goal with the book. My goal was instead, here are some ideas about how to be effective and what effective mentorship looks like. And if you tie it back to the conversation 5 minutes ago, the magic trick of mentorship is when the mentor and the mentee become peers, and it's a peer relationship. And part of the power of being effective around mentorship, whether you are a mentor or a mentee, is the relationship that develops and how that relationship develops. So both the mentor and the mentee are learning from each other.
Scott Balfour, CEO of NYSE-listed Emera, was our guest on episode 503. Emera is advancing energy leadership through strategic investment, operational excellence, and a long-term commitment to customers and communities. He goes inside the Ice House to discuss how the company's NYSE listing expands access to global capital and strengthens its ability to deliver reliable, affordable power.
Yeah, as you say, I mean, that's the critical part, right? Is the 7,600 people that work for us, for them to feel challenged, for them to feel empowered, for them to be able to do what they do in the best way possible around a common purpose, sort of an Emera purpose as we look to drive the business forward. And I think, as we've grown through acquisition along the way, as we've grown organically along the way, as we've brought on new team members along the way, that culture of collaboration that we've got between us, of taking on big things and not being afraid to take on big things, to still be sort of very thoughtful and balanced in our approach to risk management, which is really important in our industry. Of course, those are all some of the key tenets, I think, that really have helped our 7,600 people get us to this moment today and drive us forward in the future as well.
Delta Airlines is marking 100 years of flight while charting a bold course for the future of travel. CEO Ed Bastian goes inside the Ice House for episode 504 to share how the airline is expanding its global reach and redefining the passenger experience. He discusses innovations that personalize every step of the journey, strategies to enhance connectivity, and Delta's vision for the next century of aviation.
Well, Dara and I have been talking for years about needing to get together, our teams together, and we had some other partners on both sides that we were working with, and we decided to make changes and create this unique partnership. It's exclusive, and it's exclusive in the premium category. So where Uber is looking to grow its business is where Delta has been growing for years. It's the premium component, and that's unique about where we sit. The most important source of trips for Uber is airports. No surprise in terms of revenue base. I think the number is 15% of their revenues are trips to and from airports. We do airports better than anybody. We understand airports. We understand logistics at airports, and we want to make the experience for our consumer as seamless as possible. We want to take people, right through, have a seamless connection into their Uber ride to get them home safely. Or if they're not an Uber, maybe Joby, another partner of ours on eVTOL for the future. And when you have a common purpose, as our two brands do, and it's focused on service and people and taking great care of them, there's magic that can occur. And that's where we're experimenting. We only announced it this year. I think we started in the spring in terms of actually customers getting the ability to sign up on both platforms and be joint customers. We have well over 1 million customers have signed up already just in a handful of months to be part of this. So there's a strong demand set, and it grows every month.
Minerals Technologies is advancing the specialty minerals industry through global scale and innovation. CEO Doug Dietrich goes inside the Ice House for episode 505 to discuss how MTI's unique assets, people-driven culture, and technology leadership support everyday products and sustainable solutions worldwide.
Well, I think it starts with that culture first, but it also, you have to have good assets. So our resources around the world, we're the largest bentonite company or, producer in the world. We're one of the leading calcium carbonate producers, especially here in the United States. So I think having a broad and unique and very rare supply of your raw materials, and we're vertically integrated, and not a lot of minerals companies are. They own some of their raw materials and they're vertically integrated, but not all. We're fully vertically integrated, and being able to have that. But we operate in 34 countries. We have 136 legal entities, 18 currencies. We have all the breadth of a huge company, but we're only $2.2 billion, $2.1 billion company. So we have to do things differently. You have to engage people, and you have to ensure that everyone's on the same page around the world. We operate in China, Turkey, South America, just about every continent. And that's unique as well. There's a lot of regional players, but there's not a lot of global players. And so being able to have those resources, have that culture uniform around the company, be vertically integrated, that's unique. And many of them are private. We're public. So that's another unique feature. Yeah.
As the month came to a close, Will Herrmann and Alex Kuehler of Texas House went inside the Ice House on episode 506. As we discussed earlier this month, the state of Texas has welcomed businesses big and small. Will and Alex join us on the podcast to discuss how they're helping showcase the state and aiding in enhancing its capital markets.
People want to be able to experience the full externalized version of what Texas is, to be able to inform them and inform the decision to start their life there.
Yeah.
And so for us, it just made perfect sense to bring it on, to be able to show everybody everything that we love about Texas. You know, here's the most authentic flavors of Texas as given by authentic Texans.
Yeah.
And so this is our workshop to be able to bring it all in and do it in one place.
To put a bow on that from what Will said is, if you can think of Texas House in any way, the one way you should think about it is that it's a cultural embassy. That's the point, right? It wraps all of that we've been talking about into one. Texans leading global conversations, Texas to the world to Texas. We're a Texas cultural embassy. So come learn about Texas, come learn about our culture, our history, but also come learn about business and what makes the state great for business.
You can listen to these episodes along with all past and future Inside the Ice House episodes wherever you get your podcasts. Remember that we also have ETF Central podcast episodes that release every 2 weeks on Wednesdays, and the Market Storylines podcast that releases every Friday. Full video episodes of all our podcasts are also available on tv.nyse.com and on the NYSE YouTube channel. Be sure to join us every week for conversations with leaders, entrepreneurs, and visionaries. Thanks for listening, and have a Happy New Year.
That's our conversation for this week. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen, and follow us on X at Ice House Podcast. From the New York Stock Exchange, we'll talk to you again next week, Inside the Ice House. Information contained in this podcast was obtained in part from publicly available sources and not independently verified. Neither ICE nor its affiliates make any representations or warranties, express or implied, as to the accuracy or completeness of the information, and do not sponsor, approve, or endorse any of the content herein, all of which is presented solely for informational and educational purposes. Nothing herein constitutes an offer to sell, a solicitation of an offer to buy any security, or a recommendation of any security or trading practice. Some portions of the preceding conversation may have been edited for the purpose of length or clarity.